Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. The Matador 64 has been the king of the Crucible for some time now, and it's the weapon of choice for most players, often to simply combat other Matadors that they may come across. Bungie no doubt has the stats on this and is most likely working on a fix for their next weapon and sandbox update. However, I don't think the answer is to simply nerf the weapon. In fact, I believe the problem goes much deeper, and what I believe to be the best fix might surprise you. So the topic of this video is of course the Matador 64 quote-unquote problem, which also extends to other high-impact, high-range shotguns like the Party Crasher +1, although admittedly not to the same degree. However, before we get too deep into it, I do want to lay some groundwork to help you understand my train of thought a little bit better. And it all boils down to, anytime you hear an idea for anything in Destiny really, it's important to understand that the idea came to because that person not only observed an opportunity within the game, but they have also discovered what they perceive as the root of the issue, or the quote-unquote real problem. So as a result, if you don't agree with the root of the issue, any ideas presented to fix the problem, no matter how good or inventive they might be, you're going to automatically disagree with. A good example is a video I did about a week ago presenting ideas for elemental primaries if Bungie were to update the old raids. However, I noticed in the comments of that video that there were many who wrote off the idea and said Bungie should just bring back elemental primaries and be done with it. Now, I don't disagree with that idea. It would in fact be the easiest thing for them to do at this point, but the ideas that the artist and I presented were stemming from the core issue that as of right now, Bungie has stated that elemental primaries will no longer be in the game. That was the perceived problem with bringing back those Year 1 weapons. Any ideas we presented were based off the pretense that elemental primaries can't be a thing in Year 3. So if you already disagree and think they should make a return, you're immediately going to disagree with any solutions that are presented. I only mention this because I know the Matador 64, and the entire topic of shotguns in PvP for that matter, can be a very divisive topic, and I want to make sure that you understand my perception of the core of the problem when I give you my solution. So what do I think is the root problem? Well, I believe that the issue isn't necessarily just the Matador's range or impact. Yes, it is a very deadly shotgun, but I believe that it is deadly because it is combined with Destiny's mobility. Mobility is your character's walking, sprinting, jumping, secondary jump, shade step, basically anything in the game that makes your character move that you directly control. Shotguns in general rely on Destiny's mobility to close distances in a split second to be most effective, whether it's by something like a catapult or a slide. One of my favorite things to do in Wrath of the Machine is to slide into a Scorch Captain and unload a full magazine of my full auto Proud Spire before the captain can even react to my presence. While this might be super fun in PvE, it can result in some issues in the Crucible. In the past, Bungie has even observed shotgun's lethality when paired with some of Destiny's most effective movement. They basically nerfed Blink to stop Blink shotgunners, and you could argue that Shade Step was nerfed partially for the same issue. Now, I don't think you need to nerf any other part of the character mobility. It's one of my favorite parts of Destiny, and I would hate to see it nerfed even more. In fact, it reminds me when Halo 5 came out, it felt like Master Chief was walking through mud. I couldn't believe how jarring it was to go from Destiny back to Halo. Your mobility is one of the reasons that the game is so fun. In fact, there are many activities, especially in the raids, that have mechanics that revolve around your ability to masterfully move your character. Think about any jumping puzzle that you've done, think about the platforms in the King's Fall Oryx encounter, think about whipping back and forth killing servitors in Wrath of the Machine. You're basically flying around, and I love it. So again, the answer isn't to touch any part of mobility, but it's to understand that it is the primary reason why shotguns are so deadly. Luckily, we don't need to nerf mobility or nerf the Matador, or really nerf any weapon stat as far as base damage or range. What I believe will fix the issue is to increase the time it takes to aim down sights with shotguns. We've actually seen this in the past with sniper rifles in the weapon tuning last April. In fact, the issues they were addressing with sniper rifles back then were very similar. For that change, Bungie stated in their goals with sniper rifle combat is that the intent for sniper rifles has always been lethality at a distance using a measured approach. There are a few scopes and models of sniper rifles that are pushing the limits of distance and allowing for pretty effective twitch combat shooting at what many would consider medium range. These changes aren't intended to remove that style of combat, but they are intended to put the player at slightly longer ranges for that style to be as effective as it is currently. And as a result, they increase the time to aim down sights by adding extra frames in the ADS animation. Some highlights from those patch notes included add 2 frames of zoom time to base sniper handling, and to reduce stability across all sniper rifle stats so that reacquiring a target after firing requires more care. Now, my goals for shotgun changes would be sort of the reverse of that as far as distance is concerned, and to make shotgun combat less effective the riskier the encounter becomes. If I were to change shotguns, my patch notes would read, add between 2 and 10 frames of zoom time to base shotgun handling depending on how fast you're moving, which I'll explain a bit more in a moment. And then reduce stability for high impact shotgun stats so that reacquiring a target after firing requires more care. This is simply to balance out the trade-off of impact for that class of shotguns a bit more, and prevents full auto or simply hip firing from replacing rangefinder as a preferred perk to circumvent the fix. Now, as far as adding frames to zoom animations, I believe it will help mitigate the insanely low time to kill of high impact shotguns by giving you an extra split second to react to your opponent. However, I believe that a set number of frames isn't quite enough, hence between 2 and 10. Shotguns become increasingly deadlier the less reaction time you are afforded. If someone is standing still or walking, you are more likely to be aware of their presence and have more time to aim with whatever weapon you're using to counter them. However, if the opponent is sliding in hot from around a corner or maybe titan skating to you, it takes more time to get a beat on them, and they might get a kill simply by getting the jump on you. But even in a fairly matched fight, their lethality comes from their ability to close that distance, sometimes even while you're trying to literally shoot them as they come towards you. Ramping the number of added frames to the ADS animation depending on their speed of approach would help mitigate this and allow a greater chance for a primary weapon to win a mid-range encounter that would otherwise be on equal footing. So let's say the sprinting top speed adds 7 frames to shotgun zoom, while sliding or shade step adds 10. Basically, the faster they're coming at you, the more time it's going to take for them to be ready to shoot. I think this would be the best way to address the issue on all shotguns, which I believe would trickle down just fine to the Matador 64. If Bungie wants to take it a step further, they could make the rangefinder perk give you a rate of fire or impact trade-off of about 10% or so that it's a less obvious choice for that class of shotguns. Either way, you can bet that shotguns are going to be addressed in some way in the next weapon tuning, and let's just hope it's sooner rather than later. Anyways, what do you think needs to be done about the Matador 64 or high impact shotguns? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And remember that I'm still preparing my 10,000 subscriber Q&A video. Your response has been absolutely insane, so I might just have to break it up into 2 videos. Either way, be sure to check that out and leave your Q&A questions in the comments of that video. I'll leave a link in the description. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Destiny content and turn on notifications so you'll know when I post. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. As I mentioned before, the Dawning will be concluded on January 3rd. After the event concludes, SRL will come to a close and you will no longer be able to queue into competitive matchmaking. But since SRL is going into private matches, you'll be able to queue in with your friends and finish your competitive spirit record book that way. And that also goes for the year 1 record book, which I myself have still not completed either.